Now, this report from Ian R. Crane, I'm not saying it's from him, his account could have been hacked, but if not, it's quite concerning. Reported to me earlier today, an undertaker tells me that they have received a letter from the UK government criminals stating that they will soon be inundated with bodies and that they will not be able to cope. Emergency chapels of rest will be set up locally to deal with the huge influx. Like I say, whether it's real or not, we don't know. But it's certainly concerning if it is. Let's call a spade, not a shovel. Fundamental claims for expenses by politicians versus benefit cheats. When politicians make fraudulent claims, it's called an error. When someone claims social benefits fraudulently, it's called theft. When a politician tells the public a lie, it's called an error of judgment. When a claimant tells a lie, it's called fraud. When bankers steal millions of accounts holders' money and lose it on bad debts, it's called an economic crisis. When someone robs a bank with a gun, it's called armed robbery. When a claimant covers up the truth to get extra benefits, it's called fraud and theft. When a politician does the same, there is no criminal offence committed. If someone at work says he has 10 boxes when in fact he has 20 half-finished ones, he is called incompetent and sacked. When a politician does the same, he gets a job in the opposition benches when he is voted out. When the Bank of England says the recovery is on the way, it means if. When a machine tells you your car is on the way, if. When will people understand the futility of politicians and their politics they stand for? There is nothing to gain from keeping the same politicians in Parliament on a recycling system. Voted out should mean voted out, not a permanent job in the opposition, but sacked. If they needed voting out in the first place, why the hell do they get to keep all the benefits of a politician when we the people voted him out? Political governance has served to put over 570 million people into the grave early in the last 100 years alone. Politics is an adversarial system based on ideologies written by people who didn't like the ideology of someone else. No modern politician has invented an ideology. They steal ideologies from ordinary people and make it their own. Governance without political involvement is possible. Politicians only have authority to run Parliament because we allow it. Where is the statute that says no other than a politician may govern the nation? If someone can tell me the point of modern politics when all the parties say the same, just complicate the paintwork to say their party will sort it better, when is never addressed and is why it was broken in the first place. We deserve better governance or no governance for future, as the political governance of the present is just as corrupt as the politics of the past. So true. Husbands are the best people to share secrets with. They'll never tell anyone because they aren't even listening. Corruption to the core. On ex-military whistleblower John Patterson, facing trial on fake charges. Please support this man who is a genuine truther. Only crime is to protect us all. Yes, see the pattern? This to silence him, like many others. We love you, JP. The world is what we make of it. I believe in the future of humanity. Guess who's preparing for a major stock market crash? Pessimism is spreading like wildfire on Wall Street, and this is particularly true among one very important group of investors. And considering how much money they have, it may be wise to listen to what they are telling us. According to a very alarming survey that was recently conducted by UBS Wealth Management, most wealthy investors now believe that there will be a significant stock market decline before the end of next year. The following comes from Yahoo Finance. Wealthy people around the globe are hunkering down for a potentially turbulent 2020, according to UBS Global Wealth Management. A majority of rich investors expect a significant drop in markets before the end of next year, and 25% of their average assets are currently in cash, according to a survey of more than 3,400 global respondents. The US-China trade conflict is their top geopolitical concern, while the upcoming American presidential election is seen as another. Just more evidence that everyone knows about the forthcoming financial crash. Engineered, of course. Apprentice Claude Littner says struggling nurses should get part-time jobs. It didn't go down well. Lord Alan Sugar's right-hand man on The Apprentice got him into bother online with this comment. Claude Littner has been scolded on Twitter after sparking a flurry of furious responses to a suggestion that struggling nurses should work more. The Apprentice star, who acts as an advisor on the BBC shows Big Boss Lord Alan Sugar, said that if nurses could not make ends meet, why did they not extend their hours or find part-time work? Claude, 70, also said that it would be less demeaning than visiting a food bank. What an utter wanker this bloke is. The businessman then defended his views, which he made following a report that nurses are forced to resort to using Britain's food banks after coming under fire for his comments. No good deed goes unpunished, Claude said. I respond to a nurse who stated that she could not make ends meet. I suggest that as a stopgap she might find some part-time work to make ends meet. But that did not stop Twitter users slamming him out of touch views. And here is a quote from him at the bottom there. Yes, and what is your point? If a nurse or anyone else need to make ends meet, nothing wrong with extending hours or finding part-time work. That's his Twitter handle if you want to let him know. Claude Littner. Your opinion on his opinion. Russia writes off debt worth over 20 billion. Putin. Africa debt, that is. Moscow has written off more than 20 billion in debt accumulated by African countries during the Soviet era. The Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Wednesday. It was not only an act of generosity, but also a manifestation of pragmatism, because many of the African states were not able to pay interest on their loans. Putin told TASS of the eve of the summit. While addressing the Russian African Forum in Sochi, he called for trade between Russia and Africa countries to double in the next 4 to 5 years. Putin also said that Russia intended to increase its presence in Africa at state level. Lord Mountbatten's lust for young men revealed. Newly released FBI files give grim detail of the private life of Prince Charles' mentor and his wife, persons of extremely low morals. He was the war hero who led Allied efforts in Southeast Asia. Yeah, from behind a desk somewhere safe. The statesman who was so admired as last Viceroy of India that he was invited to be its first Governor-General, and the family man who was Prince Philip's uncle and a valued mentor to Prince Charles. But recently uncovered FBI files and a new interviews paint the first Earl Mountbatten of Burma as a sexually ferocious man whose bisexuality became a theme on US intelligence files. Links in description if you want to read the rest. explained what Trump really means by take the oil in Syria. The following is a brief analysis to help you read through the headlines and help see what the real underlying US foreign policy agenda is in Syria. When Trump says take the oil in Syria, what does he really mean? Does the US really need this oil? Not really. So what was all the major media front for about then? The US has even gone so far as to announce that they have the right to shoot any Syrian official who attempts to retake their country's property. UKG News co-hosts Patrick Henningsen and Mike Robinson answered this question as they bring you the early week's headlines from around the world. Julian Assange judge and her husband's links to the British military establishment exposed by WikiLeaks. The husband of Lady Emma Arbuthnot, the Westminster Chief Magistrate overseeing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's extradition to the US, has financial links to the British military establishment, including institutions and individuals exposed by WikiLeaks. So it's going to be all fair, isn't it, there then? Definitely all fair. It can also be revealed that Lady Arbuthnot has received gifts and hospitality in relation to her husband, including from a military and cybersecurity company exposed by WikiLeaks. These activities indicate that the Chief Magistrate's activities cannot be considered as entirely separate from her husband's. Lord Arbuthnot of Edrom, a former defence minister, is a paid chair of the advisory board of military cooperation Thales Group and was until earlier this year an advisor to arms company Babcock International. Both companies have major contracts with UK military defence, MOD. The revelation highlight concerns about conflicts of interest. Lady Arbuthnot began presiding over Assange's legal case in 2017 and ruled this June that a full hearing would begin next February to consider the request for extradition from the UK made by the Trump administration. How about them extraditing that woman that's killed that lad back over here? No, that's a separate thing. Well, yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about something else. British judges are required to declare any political conflicts of interest to the courts, but it is our understanding that Lady Arbuthnot has not done so. Lady Arbuthnot has recently appointed a district judge to rule on Assange's extradition case, but remains the supervising legal figure in the process. According to the UK Court Service, the Chief Magistrate is responsible for supporting and guiding district judge colleagues. Assange is currently being held in Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison in London in conditions described by UN Special Rapporteur on Torture Niles Metzer as a psychological torture. If transferred to the US, Assange faced life imprisonment on espionage charges. This is for the Yanks out there. Google Street View data collection settlement. If you used an unencrypted Wi-Fi network between 2007 and 2010, your rights may be affected by a class action lawsuit. Notice of class action settlement. Google Street View Wi-Fi communications. A class action settlement has been proposed in litigation against Google LLC relating to allegations that Google Street View vehicles unlawfully captured electronic communications sent on received over wireless network connections, Wi-Fi connections. If you used an encrypted wireless network from which Google Street View vehicles obtained payload data defined below in the United States between January 1st, 2007 and May 15th, 2010, you are a settlement class member. I'm not going to read the rest of it. Links in description if you want to read the rest. Prince Andrew to be quizzed on Epstein in Newsnight special. BBC to broadcast no-holds-barred interview with Royal on Saturday night. Absolute bullshit for a start. Look at the woman doing the interview. The same bitch they got in to interview the Hampstead paedophile, and she made him sound like he was a great bloke. So, guess what? The one thing you can take from this, though, is the fact they're having to come out on mainstream news to try and make out he's not a dirty, filthy paedophile means that they're starting to shit themselves and they know the end is coming. Paedophile Andrew has agreed to speak publicly for the first time about his friendship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein in a no-holds-barred interview with the BBC's Newsnight programme to be broadcast on Saturday night. Bullshit, no holds barred. In other words, we'll help you make look like you're just an innocent victim and those young kids wanted sex with you. The prince has been the subject of fierce speculation over his relationship with the financier, who was not found dead in a New York jail cell 3 months ago. Epstein's accuser, Virginia Gioffi, claims Prince Andrew was an abuser, a participant in her exploitation as a teenager, and says she was coerced to have sex with him. I absolutely believe that to be true. This is shocking. A child suffering from cancer died of infection from the water supply in the flagship Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, and senior management allegedly hushed it up. The parents weren't even told. Links in the description if you want to read the rest of that. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this recently, and I've heard about it before as well, but I find it very interesting. Stargates in Iraq. It has been theorised by many credible sources that there are stargates buried in the sands of Iraq. According to popular beliefs, Iraq was once the Garden of Eden. Iraq also marks the home of the ancient Sumerians, who held strong extraterrestrial beliefs relating to interdimensional travel and may indeed hold the key to human creation. Many great names have come forward and proclaimed that the US government not only knows about these stargates, but are in pursuit to acquire them. Dan Burish, an Area 51 S4 worker, claims that a stargate in Iraq actually does exist and confirms the accusations that the Iraq war is a cover for the fight for the stargates. Prince I've let down my family because I had sex with children and I've been caught out. And the reason I've let them down is because I got caught out. That's the only reason. Oh, I digress. Duke of York admits his shame about having continued friendship with convicted paedophile in extraordinary BBC interview broadcast tonight. Of course, he enjoyed having sex with children, and that's why he continued to see him. Andrew is asked about the allegation that he had sex with a 17-year-old at a party in Belgravia. I have no recollection of meeting this lady. Oh, now let's just think back to what Clinton said. I have no recollection of any sexual things with that woman. Yeah, well, same shit. He's guilty as shit. High-risk strategy for royals follows a year of PR fiascos. Mirror. 10 million lotto layout is now £10 an hour Coleman. Kate and Mary's secret TV special. More parasite shit. Royal in TV grilling. Yeah, that's what they want you to believe, but in actual fact, he's just a dirty, filthy paedophile, and the interviewer is a filthy paedophile protector. Andrew, I let the side down. Notice he doesn't say which side. It's not our side, I can guarantee you. Prince says he kicks himself every day for friendship with pedo pal Epstein, even though I was having sex with young girls and young children, but the fact I got caught means that I've let their side down. Not our side though, eh? Daily fail. Andrew, I let Queen down. Duke's dramatic TV confession. Staying with Epstein was unbecoming of royal family member. But I'm actually more upset about getting found out about it because I enjoyed the kids I was raping while I was there. But he insists he didn't sleep with teenager girl and he doesn't even remember meeting her. Okay then, it must be true then. Yeah. The fact that he's having to do this shows that they are on the last leg of being totally found out about their evil satanic ways. Telegraph. Andrew, I let the side down. Doesn't say which side, does he? Did you sleep with Virginia Roberts? I have no recollection of meeting this lady, you lying piece of paedophile. The Times. Eddie Jones regrets I have a few. Duke, I let the side down. Not our side, their side. Links to paedophile, damaged royals, admits Andrew. No recollection of meeting alleged abuse victim. Now, the fact that it says that in every paper so far tells you this is a PR stunt to try and say, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, I'm just a normal paedophile, royal. Express. Boris, 100 billion BT takeover is crazed communist plan. I let the side out. Same one in everything. Every paper. Prince Andrew opens up over Epstein scandal. TV grilling. It's not going to be a grilling at all, you lying bastard. It'll be pre-arranged. They'll have been told what questions to ask, and she's a paedophile protector anyway. For Prince at Palace. Yeah. Believe that? You just may believe anything. Because this is them scampering to try and stop the public from finding out what they're really like. The scum. Prince TV bombshell. Andy, I've let the side down. Sorry over Epstein. Can't remember teen. You lying paedophile, dirty bastard. ITV ban on live Tucker. The Guardian. Business backlash over Labour broadband plan. 3.5 million young adults are still living at home. Exclusive. Robin Crawford on her secret love affair with Whitney Houston. Waste of paper. Corrie stars find love on the cobbles. On me bed, son. Right. Me sleepwalking fear. My sleepwalking fear. Witchet grub trial scoffing ban. What a crock of shit that paper is. FT. Labour's BT nationalisation vow sparks fears over investment freeze. Free broadband pledge dismissed as lunacy. City Fibre puts $1.5 billion upgrade on hold. Sorrell denies slapping former WPP protege in heated Lisbon confrontation. Teacher. Kids, what does the chicken give you? Student. Me. Teacher. Very good. Now, what does the pig give you? Student. Bacon. Teacher. Great. And what does the fat cow give you? Student. Homework. A child asked his father how were people born. So his father said, Adam and Eve made babies, then their babies became adults and made babies, so that would be incest then, and so on. The child then went to ask asked her the same question, and she told him, we were monkeys, then we were evolved to become like we are now. The child ran back to his father and said, you lied to me. His father replied, no, your mum was talking about her side of the family. Is Google male or female? Answer, female, because it doesn't let you finish a sentence before making a suggestion.